Welcome to Social Work in Lecture. Before we discuss, let me ask you a question. What is sampling? I hope you know it. In this lecture, I'm going to explain what sampling is in research, and I'll share some clear examples to make it easy to understand. Let's get in. Sampling is a way to choose a smaller group of people or things from a larger group to study. Imagine you want to learn something about a huge group, like all the students in a city. It's hard to study every single one, right? So, you pick a smaller group, called a sample, that represents the whole group. This sample helps you gather information without needing to study everyone. Why is sampling important? Well, it saves time, money, and effort. Studying a whole population can take forever and cost a lot. A good sample gives you accurate results without all that hassle. But the key is choosing the right sample so it truly reflects the larger group. Now, let's talk about the main types of sampling. There are two big categories: probability sampling and non-probability sampling. First, probability sampling. This is when everyone in the population has an equal chance of being picked, like a fair lottery. It helps make sure your sample isn't biased. Here are a few types of probability sampling. One type is simple random sampling. Picture a jar full of names written on paper. You shake the jar and pull out a few names without looking. That's random. For example, if you want to study what 1,000 students think about school lunches, you could use a computer to randomly pick 100 students. Everyone has an equal shot at being chosen, so your results are likely fair. Another type is stratified sampling. This is when you divide the population into groups or strata based on something they share, like age or grade level. Then, you randomly pick people from each group. For instance, if you're studying a school with different grade levels, you might split students into freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Then, you randomly select a few from each group to make sure all grades are represented. There's also cluster sampling. Here, you divide the population into clusters, like schools in a district, and randomly pick a few clusters to study. For example, if you're researching teachers in a city, you might randomly choose 3 schools and study all the teachers in those schools. It's easier than studying teachers from every school. Now, let's move to non-probability sampling. This is when the selection isn't random, and not everyone has an equal chance of being picked. It's often used when you can't list everyone in the population, or when you need specific people for your study. One type is convenience sampling. This is when you pick people who are easy to reach. For example, if you're studying what people think about a new park, you might ask folks walking by the park one afternoon. It's quick, but it might not represent everyone, like people who visit at night. Another type is purposive sampling. Here, you choose people who fit specific criteria. For instance, if you're studying expert chefs, you might only pick people with over 10 years of cooking experience. You're targeting a specific group on purpose. There's also snowball sampling. This is great for hard-to-reach groups. Imagine you're studying people who collect rare coins. You start with one collector, ask them to recommend others, and keep going. It's like a snowball growing as it rolls. Finally, there's quota sampling. You set quotas for certain groups, like interviewing 50 men and 50 women about a product. You keep choosing people until you meet those quotas, but it's not random. So, why does sampling matter? A good sample helps you get reliable results that reflect the whole population. If your sample is too small or biased, your findings might be wrong. For example, if you only ask your friends about a new movie, you won't know what everyone else thinks. Here's a real-world example. Let's say a company wants to know if people like their new soda. They can't ask every person in the country, so they use stratified sampling. They divide people by age groups, teens, adults, and seniors, and randomly pick 200 people from each group. This way, they get a sample that represents different ages, and their results are more trustworthy. In short, sampling is like taking a small scoop of ice cream to taste the whole tub. If you pick the right scoop, you learn a lot without needing to eat everything. That's what sampling does in research. It helps you understand a big group by studying a smaller, Well chosen part. Thanks for watching. I hope this made sampling clear and simple for you. Visit socialworkin.com to know more about this concept.